Hey everyone, it's Philly cheesesteak night. Yay!
Yay! Big yay for me.
Yeah. You know, the great thing about this particular recipe, it is put together so fast. Very few ingredients, and it just tastes so good. It's such a comfort food. So we really were excited about doing this one tonight. But before we go into it, I have to get into a little bit of the history on it, because as I researched this, because I've been cooking this, you know, sandwich for years, but I wanted to do some research on the authenticity. Thank you.
Now, if I got it right and you didn't, that's something to say.
Of the sandwich. You know, just to make sure, you know, I'm doing it right, because Crystal and I aren't from Philly, although we've had the sandwich for many years. So what I learned in the research is there's just so many different camps on this, and there's really, as far as I could see, no one specific way to do a Philly cheesesteak. What we're going to show you tonight is the way we do it, and I'll talk about how, you know, different people, or the different ways that they do it. There's like a few specific camps, and they do their cheesesteak a certain way. So I'll touch on a little, but in the end, it's really going to be about what you want, how you like it. So the three main ingredients, so in a Philly cheesesteak, is one, the meat. That's the big one. Okay, and the meat is overall the most common meat used is the ribeye steak. There are some people that use roast beef instead, and we've tried that before, and it comes out okay, but it tastes to me more like a hot roast beef sandwich and not a true Philly cheesesteak. The other is the cheese to use, and this is really interesting, because this is where I think most of the controversy came from. There are some people that say only provolone cheese is to be used for a Philly cheesesteak. If you use anything but provolone, it's not Philly cheesesteak. Then there's others that say you have to use white American. That's the one to use. And then the other camp says no, Cheese Whiz.
Ooh, no.
But the great thing about it, when you read this stuff, they are so passionate about their cheesesteak and their choices. I don't think
I've ever had one with Cheese Whiz on it.
And the last thing is the bread. They have a specific bread that they really like to use for the cheesesteak. And I think really what it means is you need to have like a hard crusted roll. It's really going to make the sandwich. Those were the three big things. So again, what we're going to do tonight for us, Crystal and I, we like onion and green pepper. We're going to do the Philly cheesesteak with onion and green pepper. We'll show you how to do that. If you don't like it, you know, that's great. You don't have to put it on.
And that's the American, and that's the provolone.
Yeah, and this is, yeah, with the cheese, this is the road we're going to take. First step is slice the green pepper. Slice it right down the middle. Take that out. And then we'll just slice it nice and thin. You see how that is, about that slice? Okay, we have the pepper all done. Now we're going to do the onion. Just cut the top, bottom off. And we Okay, now we talked about the meat to use for the Philly cheesesteak, and I believe this really is the meat to use. A nice ribeye steak, USDA choice. Now, when you use this, normally they'll tell you go to your butcher and get a ribeye sliced really thin. Well, the thing is, you know, I just go to a supermarket, and I you know, I don't have the luxury of a butcher. So how do you get it? I mean, where do you go to get it sliced thin? If you go to the lunch meat counter, you know, they don't have the ribeye there. You could get the roast beef, but not the ribeye. So what I've done on this is I found a way to really get the ribeye to where you could slice it nice and thin on your own. Because some recipes say, all right, bring it home and get a slicer and slice it thin. Well, you know, Crystal and I don't own a slicer, you know. And normally the average person doesn't. So the trick is, what you do is, and what I've done with this is, you buy it just like this, a regular ribeye, and put it in the freezer 1 hour before you're going to slice it. And that's what I've done, and now it's like nice and hard. Okay. And then we just take it open. And you see how that is? And then what we could do, now that it's frozen, we can slice this razor thin. Okay, now as I'm slicing this, you see how thin that is? And look at that. That is almost like just doing it on a slicer itself. And when it's frozen like that, this is what it allows you to do. So you could do it at home, just put it in the freezer, put it on a cutting board, and just shave it thin. Just make sure it's semi-frozen. All right, turn the heat on high. We're gonna put olive oil in the pan. I like using the cast iron pan. I like frying the onions and meat in the cast iron pan. Okay, we put a little olive oil in the pan, and you see it now just starting to smoke? That's good. Now we'll put the onions and pepper in. I'm going to salt and pepper these. Okay, while the peppers and onions are cooking, what I'm going to do is take the hoagie roll and cut it right down the middle. You don't want to slice all the way through it. Gently open it up because you don't want to break it all the way through. Okay, and that's where everything's going to go. We're going to put it on here because we're going to bake it after it's done. Peppers and onions have been cooking for about 5 minutes, and they're all done. You see how they look? So what we're going to do is take this and put them in a bowl. And we're going to use the same fry pan for the steak. So we're going to just put it back on and put some more olive oil in. And it was, like I said, only about 5 minutes for this, and it's going to only be a few minutes for the steak because you see how thin that is? This is going to cook really fast. But it's important when you put it in, you have to season it with salt and pepper. And this isn't going to cook too long. This goes really quick. I'll put on our salt. And we'll do our pepper.
That looks good.
It's about halfway done, and I'm going to salt and pepper it just one more time, just to make sure we got it all over. Salt and pepper just goes so great with the meat. Hungry, Princess?
I'm very hungry. I'm really excited. I have a good movie for us to watch.
Is that right?
I got this all planned out. You're cooking, but I got the rest planned out.
Nice. Okay, we're going to preheat the oven to 375. Okay, the pink is just about all gone. We don't want to cook this too long. Can you see all that juice in there still? That's good. Put this in the bowl. So we have the peppers and onions done. If you wanted to do mushrooms, you know, you could do that too. That'll be on the side. All right, now we have our steak and we have our veggies. And we'll come over here. Okay, so we have the steak, veggies, we have the rolls, and then we have our cheese over here. And then we have the leftover meat for Max. And next up, we'll put it all together. Okay, like I said, it's a very fast recipe. The first 5 minutes, if that, we cut the veggies. Second 5 minutes, we cook the beef. It cooks very fast because it's thin. And now we're gonna put it together, and it's like 5 minutes in the oven. Some people don't bake this, but I like wrapping it in foil and then baking it in the oven. So what we're gonna do is take the American cheese, put a layer of that down.
It's white American, right?
White American.
Thank God I'm here to just point these things out.
That's right. Okay. Now we're gonna take the meat, put that right on top. It's a big sandwich.
That's for tonight and for tomorrow for me.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I can't eat that whole thing. That's huge.
You know you can.
Well, I can, but I won't be very happy afterwards.
Now, if you don't want to put the veggies on, if you're in that camp where you can't put anything on the Philly cheesesteak, just skip this step. If you want to add mushrooms along with this, feel free. Really, it's how you like it. It's all up to you what you want to do. All right, so we have the American cheese, the steak, peppers and onions. Now we're going to put a layer of provolone on top. Just keep in mind, this is not a low-cal sandwich.
It sure isn't.
It's comfort food.
It's good we've been eating vegan most of the week.
It is good.
Yeah.
All right. So now we just close this up. Press it down. Close it up. Not tight at all, because you want everything to melt in there. We're going to put this in the oven. Right, the oven's preheated to 375, and we'll put that in. Okay, I think we are done. Boy, it smells good, huh? Yeah, this smells better. See that? Very nice.